On the morning when RM's birthday finally arrived, the atmosphere on social media among K-pop fans felt more vibrant than usual because this annual moment had always been a focal point for ARMY around the world. And what many anticipated most from the flood of posts and celebrations was how the BTS members would show their affection or greetings to their leader, who is known for his dedication. And soon the spotlight turned toward Suga, who has shared not only a long professional journey, but also a particular emotional bond as a fellow member with RM. Because when his simple public post appeared online, netizens immediately highlighted not only the content of the greeting, but also the calm and straightforward manner that has always characterized him, creating a wave of positive conversation about Suga's consistency in showing warmth and sincerity, without exaggeration. And from there, the discussion grew as fans connected this moment to the group's long history together, reflecting on how someone often described as reserved, like Suga, still expressed respect and care in his own authentic way, while the online timeline filled with supportive remarks, emphasizing that true friendship does not need grand gestures, but rather small consistencies that endure year after year. And Korean entertainment media joined in by framing this as an example of healthy relationships in an industry often marked by competition. By the afternoon, the conversation had expanded further as international media outlets began referencing the birthday post as an example of a unique phenomenon within K-pop culture, where small details of celebrity interactions could evolve into positive discourse across countries. And this drew attention from media analysts who argued that BTS's strength lies not only in their music and performances, but also in internal interactions that consistently attract healthy public interest, which is why it felt natural for Suga's birthday message to RM to become global news. And at this point, the striking detail was how the tone of the conversation remained positive without devolving into tabloid-style noise, since fans themselves seemed intent on maintaining a supportive environment online, ensuring that the focus stayed on friendship, respect, and warmth within the group, giving RM's birthday an added layer of meaning beyond personal celebration and turning it into a communal reflection. And throughout the afternoon into the evening, waves of new fan posts emerged with creative edits, artworks, and celebratory content, further proving how a private gesture could expand into collective appreciation. While the spotlight on Suga remains high to his choice of simplicity, never overplaying his role, yet leaving many convinced of the authenticity in his approach. In this way, the news solidified as part of the positive archive of BTS's journey as a group united by shared history and enduring camaraderie. As night fell and the day slowly came to a close, the birthday celebrations for RM had spread widely across different parts of the world. But the central focus still circled back to the small gesture by Suga that had started the entire wave of attention, illustrating how even a single act can create broad resonance when the context involves public figures with a global fan base. And entertainment media wrapped up their coverage by stressing that the success of this positive narrative did not come from elaborate promotional strategies, but from the authenticity of the interaction, which the public received as a refreshing moment in the fast-paced and often exhausting stream of entertainment news. And in the notes of entertainment journalists, the day was recorded as a moment when attention was not only on RM's personal celebration, but also on the wider appreciation of healthy relationships in a competitive industry, with Suga regarded as having offered a small yet meaningful example of how honesty and demeanor can outlast flashy gestures, leaving by the end of the day a lingering sense of comfort, warmth, and optimism among fans and readers alike, showing that positive narratives can still dominate the public sphere when people themselves choose to celebrate them collectively. Making RM's birthday this year not only a personal milestone, but also a shared reminder of the quiet power of authenticity in the lives of public figures. The morning after RM's birthday, the online momentum had not diminished, as fans continued to circulate posts reflecting on the significance of Suga's greeting and how it had been received with such warmth by the community, creating a lingering effect that extended beyond the specific date and carried into the following day. And this continuation showed how certain gestures could surpass the temporality of birthdays and become part of a wider conversation about values within fan culture. Since ARMY accounts on social platforms shared longer reflections about leadership, teamwork, and companionship, tying them directly to the sincerity of Suga's simple message. In the absence of unnecessary embellishment, became a recurring theme in these discussions, illustrating how minimalism and authenticity could resonate more powerfully than orchestrated campaigns. While entertainment outlets published follow-up features exploring the cultural weight of birthday greetings in K-pop and how they often reflect the dynamics within a group. Yet in this case, the narrative stood out because of how it maintained its positivity without straying into speculation or conflict. And the continuous sharing of fan-made graphics, translations, and supportive comments further proved that the resonance was not short-lived, but part of a broader pattern in which BTS numbers interactions consistently generate collective reflection, with journalists noting that this ripple effect underlined the enduring global interest in not only the music, but also the interpersonal stories that humanize the group, leaving the impression that Suga's understated gesture had unintentionally become a case study of how sincerity travels across cultures in the digital age. As the day moved forward, the broader entertainment cycle began integrating the aftermath of the birthday celebration into a larger narrative of BTS's influence, situating the attention on Suga's post within the ongoing story of how even small details related to the group continually shape conversations worldwide. And industry commentators pointed out that this recurring ability to draw public focus onto seemingly simple moments is part of what has sustained the group's relevance at a global scale, because every interaction becomes a cultural touchpoint for millions. And Suga's greeting to RM became another example of this pattern, used by analysts to highlight the collective discipline of ARMY in amplifying positivity, showing once more how fandom culture can evolve into a participatory storytelling process where fans choose which narratives dominate. And as articles were syndicated internationally, the coverage framed the greeting not as trivial, but as a representation of the way authenticity within celebrity groups can inspire wider communities, adding layers of meaning to what in other contexts would be considered ordinary, while fans themselves continued to circulate anecdotes of their own lives inspired by the sense of unity they witnessed, proving that the impact of such gestures extends into personal reflections and shared emotions, thereby reinforcing the idea that the boundaries between artist narratives and audience experiences are increasingly blurred. And within this framework, the steady focus on Suga's greeting demonstrated how the smallest details could echo widely when filtered through networks of fans and media operating together in real time. By the evening of the following day, the conversation had reached a point where it was no longer solely about Suga or RM, but had grown into a collective celebration of group solidarity, with media reports weaving together multiple perspectives from fans, cultural commentators, and industry voices who all pointed to the same conclusion: that sincerity and consistency are qualities that resonate deeply when they are seen in the actions of public figures. And Suga's birthday greeting to RM had become the latest proof of that, serving as both a symbolic gesture within BTS and a wider reminder to audiences of the value of authentic connection. And the coverage began to highlight the group dynamic as a whole, noting how every member, in different ways, contributes to a culture of respect that is increasingly recognized by the public. And this narrative itself became newsworthy because it contrasted sharply with the usual headlines of celebrity rivalries or controversies, offering instead a case where positivity dominated without needing conflicts to generate attention. While fan-created content continued to grow, with compilations, essays, and multimedia projects reflecting on the history of the group and celebrating their unity, making clear that the impact of this single message had evolved far beyond its original form, becoming a cultural marker in itself. And as journalists filed their reports for the day, they concluded that what began as a simple birthday greeting had crystallized into an international conversation about values that transcended entertainment. As the cycle naturally slowed in the days that followed, the lasting impression from Suga's birthday greeting to RM remained intact, preserved in media archives, fan forums, and personal reflections as another small but significant chapter in the ongoing story of BTS and their relationship with their global audience. And the enduring positivity around the event underscored the extent to which authenticity can cut through the noise of constant entertainment news, with the greeting standing as a clear reminder that genuine moments have a lifespan far longer than orchestrated spectacles. And in retrospective articles published by cultural commentators, the greeting was framed not only as a gesture of camaraderie, but as evidence of how the micro-level details of celebrity interactions become macro-level narratives in the digital age, shaping global perceptions and providing fans with a sense of shared participation in the lives of artists they admire. While for ARMY, the memory of this moment joined countless others in an ongoing archive of interactions that continued to define their connection with BTS. And in the context of RM's birthday, the entire sequence of events came to symbolize not only a celebration of one individual, but also a reaffirmation of collective unity, leaving behind an atmosphere of warmth that persisted long after the initial spark had faded. And as coverage gradually shifted to other topics in the entertainment landscape, the legacy of this particular greeting remained secure as one of those quiet yet powerful moments where sincerity prevailed, proving once again that in the midst of an ever-changing cultural conversation, authentic gestures endure with remarkable strength.